Welcome to Chapter 11 of this training course focusing on conflict management. The main topics that are covered in this chapter refer to: what is a conflict, types of conflict and the conflict process, youth conflicts, conflict resolution with young people. The word conflict comes from the Latin word conflictus, which means collision or clash. A conflict is commonly understood as a form of opposition between parties, an absence of agreement between parties, or a way to solve social contradictions. Surprisingly or not, conflicts are natural processes in human social interaction. The recent general trend has been to consider conflict as something normal, an everyday social phenomenon, and a simple and natural characteristic of human social systems. The distinction that has to be made is between conflict itself and the negative consequences that some ways of dealing with conflicts have, such as war. In this perspective, a war is not the conflict, but rather the negative result of how the conflict was dealt with. Based on the previously mentioned aspects, we can define conflict as a process in which two or more parties attempt to frustrate the attainment of the other's goals. The factors underlying conflict are interdependence, differences in goals, and differences in perceptions. Many types of conflicts have been identified. We are going to present you a few. An interpersonal conflict is a conflict between two individuals. An intrapersonal conflict is a conflict within an individual. An intragroup conflict is a conflict among individuals within a team or a group. An intergroup conflict is a conflict that occurs when a misunderstanding arises among different teams within an organization, group, or community. A relationship conflict occurs when the perception of the differences among two or more parties is negative, which leads to negative emotions, miscommunication, and negative behaviors among the parties involved in the situation. Data conflicts occur when there is a lack of information that help people make the right decisions. This conflict also occurs when the decision makers are misinformed or given the wrong information. A conflict of interest occurs when one party has interests that are contrary with each other. Structural conflicts are the result of external factors rather than personal bias or stereotypes. For example, organizational changes, time, distance, or proximity. Values are the beliefs and assumptions that people have as part of their lives that help them set the basis for their ethical actions. People from the same culture tend to have equivalent values and assumptions regarding their social world. Conflict resolution is the process of resolving a dispute or a conflict by meeting at least some of each side's needs and addressing their interests. According to your position in a conflict, different techniques are recommended. If you are giving feedback in a conflict, use risk method. R. Report the fact. Stick to the fact. I. State the impact in feeling words. S. Specify what you prefer to see happening. C. State the negative and positive consequences. If you're receiving feedback in a conflict, use pause method. P. Paraphrase what the other person has said. A. Ask questions that begin with what, how, and when. Use time to cool down. Conflict resolution guides suggest some questions which might prove to be helpful to reflect upon by the conflicting parties. Do I want to resolve the conflict? Can I see the whole picture not just my own point of view? What are the needs and anxieties of everyone involved? How can we make this fair? How can we both win? What are the possibilities? Can we work it out together? What am I feeling? What do I want to change? What is it like to be in their shoes? Do we need a neutral third person?